Are you ready to create something amazing? Welcome to Sneller Creative Promotion, custom promotional packaging, and unique marketing materials, making your business memorable. This is Sneller Creative Promotions. Welcome to Create Something Amazing with Jeff Snell of Sneller Creative Promotions. How are you today, Jeff?
Doing great, Brandon. How about you?
So there is a big congratulations in store for you. Once again, you won Best in Business Award for 2020. So that makes it, 3 years in a row you've won now?
That's right, man. 3 years in a row. Super excited and proud of that accomplishment. And thank you for remembering. I'm
glad that people are recognizing the amazing work that you do and how creative you get your things done. So.
Thanks, man. Yeah, it is very rewarding. So St. Louis Small Business Monthly does that every year. And so for 3 years in a row, they said I'm the best marketing firm in St. Louis. And I'm very proud of that. Of course, what they don't realize or care or maybe isn't important is all of my customers are nationwide now. I bet maybe only 10% of what I do is local, which I'm grateful for that. It's my foundation. But nowadays, it all comes from all over the country. But yeah, the recognition does feel good. Very proud of that.
I think your perspective and how you go about things is one of the things that makes you different. You treat it as a problem solving, not just being that creative out of the box type thinking, but these clients come to you with a problem and you figure out a way to best solve their problem or make things happen. That's the cool part. I love the stuff you did for Dwayne Wade with the dry ice for the clothes and everything like that. I thought that was so cool because it's just something that's impactful and memorable. And I'm sure that you have more stuff that you've been doing this year and some stuff that you've done in the past that we can talk about as well.
Absolutely. You know it, man. That is so fun. And I absolutely love what I do, as we've talked about in our first 3 episodes. And it does require a little bit of work and a little effort for us to work together, me and my customers, to arrive at the perfect solution. And as you said so perfectly in one of our episodes, some people may just want to hit a button and put Joe's Moving on a box or something like that. Whatever you said was terrific. And that's not going to happen with me. It literally takes some dialogue. But if our customers are willing to invest the time and the effort and have a little vision themselves, then together we can create something that's way better than either one of us could have come up on our own. I'm working on 20 things right now that are along those lines. And sometimes it can be a bit frustrating. I've got a customer from California that emailed me and they said, give me a box that costs $100. And I'm like, okay, I can do that, but could you please elaborate a bit more? Well, we want to stick some promotional products in there, but we need it to be $100. Okay, well, how many do you need and how quickly do you need them? And eventually I can get, like you do on your podcast, I can get people to open up and we arrive at whatever that solution is. But, I'm like, well, would you like to choose the items in the box or do you want me to just pick them? And so I don't know. The good and the bad of what I do is, I left corporate America when I was in college. I loved being exposed to it. I did some really amazing things, including working in Canada and Mexico, trips to Europe. I worked all over the world. But what I found was the bureaucracy was just a little much for me. And I realized not everybody has the luxury or has made the choices that you and I have made to be self-employed. But the freedom that you and I have, the freedom of schedule, the ability to be the boss and make decisions is so rewarding for me. And it's hard for me sometimes to remember the constraints that corporate America puts on my customers. They want rules and policies and procedures. And as we talked earlier, they want to set up a Zoom meeting or an appointment. And I'm just like, just call me. Let's just talk and let's just figure it out. And so once I can get people to loosen up, as you do with me on these podcasts, then the transaction is painless and fun and enjoyable, and we create these amazing things. So things I'm working on right now, I've got one customer, one of my best customers, they make conveyor belts. So what's also fascinating for me is to see what businesses people are in. Literally, and I used to tell my kids that everything is somebody's product. Anything that I'm looking at around in my office is somebody's end product or part of it is used to make the product. But anyway, this company makes conveyor belts. And I've been working on this quote literally for years. They've got, and they make hundreds of different types of conveyor belts. So, your manufacturing facilities have these conveyor belts. And who would think that, I don't know, it's a different thickness of rubber or a different grain of texture. There's a million different conveyor belts. And so this customer of mine needs a sample kit to display these different hundreds of conveyor belts. And you're not going to, and these conveyor belts, so, hundreds of yards long in their final product, but they only need a little swatch. It's almost like when you go to Home Depot and you're looking at a Formica swatch or a paint swatch. They need a way to hold all of these little swatches in a concise little kit that can be carried, it can be displayed at retail, their sales reps can use them. It's almost like the soybean test tube kits we were talking about before. But anyway, these are conveyor belts. And they're little pieces. They're like 1 inch by 3 inch squares of these thick, chunky pieces of rubber. And they came to me and said, Jeff, how would you create this kit? It's got to be beautiful. You've got to be able to like rotate these little belts out so you can touch and feel them, but we don't want them to get lost. So if there's 200 little pieces of rubber, we don't want them flying all over the customer's desk or the showroom, and they've got to go back in their home. And so we came up with this booklet system. It's a hardcover book, almost like a ring binder with a closure flap, or almost like a trapper keeper binder. Mm-hmm. And when you open up, and it's printed in full color, gorgeous, with a Velcro closure. And then when you open up the flap and you pull these flaps open, inside are these long metal rods that we mount these little pieces of conveyor belts on. And then there's 3 rods per kit. You can rotate the belts out one direction or the other, or there's a rod in the center that holds all these things. So they've got a home. You can touch and feel and move these things around. You can even pull the little conveyor belt sample out and place it back in, but it's got a place to go when the whole presentation is over with. So that's literally brand new. I'm just working on that right now, and it's taken me years to work out this final solution with my customer. They started off with a 3-ring binder that had these belts riveted onto the index tabs. But the thing was huge by the time you had all these belts and tabs, and it was clunky and it was plastic, and it just wasn't the most attractive thing. So this is a really cool solution that we're working on at the moment.
And the fact that you've been working on it for years to perfect it.
The persistence, and that's one of my greatest strengths, is I never give up on anything. I'm like a dog with a bone. So super persistent. I never forget. I never let go. I may, and I don't put pressure on my customers, but I'm a repository of information and desire to succeed and make my customers happy. And so, these things kind of ebb and flow. They're hot and heavy for 2 or 3 months, and we quote a concept, and then it never happens, and it kind of backs off for 2 or 3 months, and then it gets hot and heavy again. And in this case, it just never really happened until now. They literally ran out of their kits, which they were never in love with, but it was functional. It worked. They had a bunch of them in inventory. They finally ran out where they had to do something, and so we quoted and massaged and manipulated and eventually came up with everything that they wanted. So it's going to be terrific when it's done, and the customer's going to be thrilled. And I'm grateful for their loyalty and desire to work with me. And I know that they're glad that I'm still in business and I still remembered everything. And I've always got the resources to make their dreams come true. And their conveyor belt dreams, packaging dreams, sample kit dreams, foot lotion dreams, as we were talking with Tom West in episode 1.
You make some of the most mundane things kind of cool. Like you said, everything is a product. You look around in whatever room you're in right now. Anybody who's listening right now, look around in your room. Everything had to be sold or manufactured somewhere. It didn't just happen. You have to take something that might be, hey, Sprite is changing their bottle. So you have to go through and create something to show how Sprite is changing their bottle and still make that cool and flashy, but to the powers that be instead of the general public.
Perfectly said, man. And I've done stuff for Sprite and Coke and Pepsi. And yeah, so they need to, before Brendan and Jeff finds the Pepsi bottle on the shelf, somebody needs to sell it to the Deerbergs and the Schnooks, et cetera. And so I'm creating these kits and these marketing tactics, physical things they hold in their hand to encourage the buyer to put these items on the shelf. So yeah, it's just a whole different way of marketing, helping them market their items so they get a paycheck at the end of the day, hopefully.
I've been in marketing and promotions and doing commercials and stuff for 30 years. And I still am in awe of the things that you do and the ideas that you come up with. I know you got some other stuff up your sleeve. What else you got?
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. So, and we've talked in our previous episodes about how every business and every person and every consumer has to adapt to these changing times. And my business, thankfully, September was really, really good. October is my best October of my entire career. So business is through the roof at the moment, knock on wood, because I don't know how long it's going to last. And there were plenty of months that were very difficult before these last 2 months have been so great. But one of the trends that has happened is, first of all, businesses can't go on not marketing and not spending forever. And thankfully, they all have a need to reach their audience, their customers, their prospects, their employees working from home. And what I'm finding is all of these events, trade shows, meetings, sales meetings, things that used to be trips, anything that used to be person to person, these customers of mine still need to market themselves. And they, unfortunately, in many cases, they still have a budget. They still have marketing dollars that they need to spend. So if you're not spending on a big fancy meeting or a trade show, how are you going to reach your audience and how are you going to spend your dollars? So anyway, I've turned into the box king. I mean, I've always done tons of corrugated boxes, and we're really good at it. And we make them any way you can think of, handmade, corrugated, in foam compartments, fancy compartments inside. I mean, there's so many ways to make a box, and we've always done it. But now customers of mine are reaching out to their audience with mailings. And it's sad in many respects that these events have been canceled, but in replace of the event, the point of my story is that, so you're not doing a trade show or you're not doing an event. Now they're mailing tons of boxes with goodies inside the box to their audience. And one of the coolest orders I just delivered last week is for a shipbuilding company, Newport News Shipbuilding, out of the East Coast. They make these huge, any kind of large ship that you can think of. And so what they call a master shipbuilder is somebody who has worked at this company for 40 years. And they would normally, when they retire or they have an event to honor these people, they would normally have a big gala, a big event, a dinner, the balloon drop, probably certificates, awards, all kinds of fancy things. And those events have been canceled. That part really stinks and is sad. But what this customer of mine did was that instead create a beautiful mailing box, customized, printed with beautiful graphics and faces of their master shipbuilders on this box. And inside the box was the awards program, a custom face mask, a gift card, a beautifully laser engraved ornament, Christmas tree ornament, and some other goodies to recognize their accomplishments and to make this a big deal. So yeah, it got nailed to their house, which stinks, but it still recognized these master shipbuilders. These boxes are absolutely gorgeous. And that's just one of, I'm doing 20 of these things a month. There's another local event here that I've done every year for a major corporation here in town. And I always did the certificate holders. So again, Jeff or Brendan get honored. It's Jeff's, Best in Business Marketing Award. And they give you a certificate in this beautiful leather or leatherette certificate holder, and it's normally embossed with the corporate logo. And again, a big deal. It's a lunch or a dinner, and it's all kinds of fancy stuff that's now gone away. But once again, I'm doing a mailer instead to replace this to make these individuals feel special. So now not only am I producing the certificate holder and the certificate, which I always did, but a corrugated box and some gorgeous crinkle cut paper that fills the box to cushion it, and it's in their corporate color. There's a laser engraved award from Tiffany and a bunch of other items that go inside. A journal book, a pen. There's all kinds of goodies that go in this box. So and we always talk about how my items are like a gift. So these gifts, I don't know, in many ways, I'm not the most social person anyway. I would think I'd rather receive this gift in the mail than go to a fancy dinner anyway. So
I got to dress up. These are shipbuilders. They don't want to know. Come on.
Don't make me put on a tie or even pants. I'd rather, if I could wear shorts year round, I'd be wearing shorts. So yeah, tons of boxes right now. In fact, one more. And this has really been fun for me. So we talk about a lot of my customers, the things that they sell are not the most exciting. Doesn't matter if it's a soybean or a conveyor belt. It's exciting for them, but for most people, they don't get wowed. Well, I've got a customer now. It's Sony Music, so I get to touch some celebrities now, which is fun. And almost as much fun as doing my NBA or my football players and things that I've done in the past. So Sony Music now has done probably 20 boxes with me. Every time one of their artists comes out with a new single, they create a swag box, and they're press kits, marketing kits, announcing the new single. And so they're going to people like Brendan Shanahan announcing this single. And I just did one for JLo, that she's the biggest name that I've done, but I've done all kinds of other Latin American artists. And they're gorgeous, full color boxes, printed outside, printed inside, and then Sony themselves puts swag inside, a hoodie or all kinds of other printed materials. But that one's been super, super fun for me. And like they just keep, it comes down like rain. I'm doing like one every other week. So that's been a blast.
I'm sure that, 10, 15 years down the line, that someone's still going to be holding on to the